to the Theosophical Society in Detroit. This is one of the first of our series of presentations for Friday nights under our present circumstances. We are going to be holding a few Zoom lectures. And tonight we are going to feature someone who is known around this part of Michigan as Dr. Detroit, Mike Whitty. Mike is a former instructor professor at University of Detroit Mercy. He taught there for a number of years, and I'll let him tell you a little bit more if he wants to about what he taught. But he is also has been a member of the Theosophical Society for many years, and he is known for his kindness, generosity, and spiritual insight into human nature. He is the voice of optimism for the future, both for us individually as human beings, but also he takes into account our poor city of Detroit, which for many years was suffering, but in the last several years has had a renaissance. And Mike has been instrumental in helping our city regain a healthy state. So Mike, welcome. We are happy to see you again. And I'll let you speak for yourself about whatever you want to say about yourself.
Okay. Well, the Theosophical Lodge is right on Woodward Avenue, which is the main line of Detroit. The spirit of the river runs right up Woodward from the city to Pontiac. And I often thought of Woodward as a metaphor of unity for the region. So let's just imagine we're in the Theosophical Library. Let us all just momentarily journey to that space. And I'll do maybe 20, 30 minutes creating more reflection on peace of mind so that we can transmute any sense of isolation we have. And we'll then take the second half to open and share time on ways that you have used positive coping activities and thoughts regarding a change that has happened to all of us and in effect brought us together a bit. And then we'll carry on according to Randy's judgment into the balance of our time. But I'd urge you to make a note or two along the way so you can share when we get to this sharing circle. So let us just for a moment enter the Lodge of the Detroit branch of Theosophy. Think of ourselves in a circle where we're here tonight to count our blessings and see the positives flowing from the pandemic. And the preciousness of life becomes more apparent when we live with the presence of death and the thought crosses our mind inevitably when we hear the news. And isolation along with it, which we can reframe with the spirit of nature, letting us at least go into our backyards, at least walk around the block, find a nearby park. Let nature be our medicine for peace of mind. So all of this evening is an opportunity to deepen our spirituality and hopeful reflection on ways the pandemic has brought us into this moment, perhaps with a silver lining. And it's that spirit I want to share one little poem called Today. Outside my window, a new day I see, and only I can determine what kind of day it will be. It can be busy and sunny, laughing and gay, or boring and cold, unhappy and gray. My own state of mind is the determining key, for I'm only the person I let myself be. I can be thoughtful and do all I can to help, or be selfish and think just for myself. I can enjoy what I do and make it seem fun, or gripe and complain and make it hard on someone. I can be patient with those who may not understand or belittle and hurt them as much as I can. But I have faith in myself and believe what I say, and I personally intend to make the best of each day. And if we wake up with that attitude as our mantra, thankfulness, gratitude. As my mother used to say, you're lucky you're alive. And let's cheer on that spirit and share together how we feel better about what's going on in this pandemic world after this session that has brought the best out of ourselves, where we're utilizing our own life wisdom and spirituality and optimism, and maybe opening our hearts to this moment. And yes, accepting the pandemic and accepting the elements of isolation and accentuated moments of loneliness. We are human creatures and we are part of a tribe, and we're all interconnected with everything else that we know as existence or reality. So we have to grab hold of being thankful for our lives, for our companions in the journey, and appreciate each day with a little solitude, quiet, gratitude, and a loving attitude. That is enough right there to be a prayer. Then the pandemic can then be seen as a teaching moment, a spiritual moment, a theosophic moment, to engage our aging into saging and become spiritual elders in our own time, embracing self-acceptance, inner peace, personal bravery, and facing life's worries while still fully trusting life and allowing ourselves to gently offer possible positives in the pandemic that have benefits for our mental, physical, and spiritual health. Life does get more precious when we live with the presence of death or thoughts of that, which are perfectly normal and come along with aging and are part of life, but are accentuated with this particular set of circumstances and the media, shall we say, the media shadow of fear. So the pandemic has all of us thinking about death every day in a certain way, but we can let these thoughts increase our appreciation of life. That's the way to turn it upside down and come away with something you appreciate. And try a mantra of thankfulness, daily mantra of thankfulness. And if you still feel isolated, and we all do at certain moments, make it a holy monastic isolation. May I say, even an optimistic isolation. Be content looking out the window. Be content with your garden. Be content with a fresh air walk somewhere. Please appreciate all that is beautiful about this summer and all that is beautiful about our lives and our inner beauty and the outer beauty of this remarkable experience as journeyers and seekers. So even facing my ultimate demise can have a kind of liberation, because death could be viewed as an advisor. The hospice is a great teaching. A loved one that you're with, holding their hand. Death as an advisor tells us to live and love in the here and now. So we just need to be more alert for ways to love our loved ones, our family, our friends, and the lodge, and everyone else with as much grace and beauty as we can muster, because this pandemic has at least allowed me to try to restructure my life. It's been a big break in my routine. I miss the Theosophical library room, and I miss all of you as we used to meet and have our shares together. And it's really improved even my healthcare attitudes. That's a major improvement. I love Gail's home cooking. I'm eating far better with less sugar and salt by eating home-cooked food. Well, there's a practical thing that can make us appreciative. And getting exercise with daily walks or doing yoga. That's another thing. We can't get up, stand up, stop sitting all the time, and stretch, at least stretch, and walk about, even just a little. They say that makes a big difference. So even small steps in the right direction. Breathe. That's another good, write that down on your notes. Breathe. It certainly improved my relationships with my life partner, Gail, and my family and friends. And if you have some people in the family who don't call you enough or often, then call out to those family members. Take the initiative, especially when the calls don't come to you. If the parents are gone and the brothers and sisters aren't real tight, then, you know, there's a little work to do, but this is a time to do that little work. Take the initiative. And always remember to stay positive and fully accepting of everything, including isolation. because even that isolation can reveal space to combat your isolation negatives. You can do that by just picking up the phone and calling out, or texting, or Zoom sessions like tonight where we can share in community. So I like to think of our energy psychology together provides practical support, and we have a virtual community of spirit with these Zoom sessions from Theosophy. So I even see a sense of potential unity in the crisis, where we're recognizing we're sharing the same worries and common concerns. And maybe this unity in the crisis is a foretaste of oneness. We've all dreamed of it, all hoped for it, all ultimately philosophically believed in it, but this is a foretaste of it, sometimes bitter, but nonetheless a foretaste. It may help us feel good and stay calm and loving and kind. And loving kindness to ourselves and our relations, all our relations. That's right there. If we can work on being calm and loving and kind, that would be sufficient for our future karma, if I may be so bold. All these attitudes would allow us to be grateful, and they give us perspective to engage in meaningful work. Maybe it's cleaning the house or planting in the garden, or just slowing down and trying to make life basically simple, doing yoga and meditation, or just loving the ones you're with and treating all others kindly with kind thoughts, and even kind politics, especially those we differ with. Wouldn't that be nice? Kind politics, where you express your values gently and with restraint, and you don't judge the person you're with, and you embrace the person you might differ with on some matter of philosophy or politics or temperament or chemistry. Lots of ways maybe somebody rubs our fur a little bit the wrong way, but can we be calm enough and kind enough to love them and embrace them as part of our teachers? Sometimes our teachers are a little bit like the crazy wisdom. They might be a little crazy, but that's okay. We love them anyway. So we have to accept it all and trust that love wins, and always stay connected, even if it's just by the phone or a computer, to do everything you can to sit less, walk more, and be thankful, and always count your blessings. And take a note. Can you think of one blessing that you do appreciate and has stuck with you and been a helper as you cope with change during this pandemic? I just try to notice and enhance gratitude for the blessings that I count. So count your blessings now. It brings appreciation to what you do have and brings thanks. And my hope is that your heart opens a little more and you can forgive and heal, emotionally heal, and handle better worry, anxiety, and stress. And even aspire to be an optimist. There are optimist clubs, literally. They're service clubs. It's a nice transition from isolation to having a new sense of meaning in what your life is. You know, our mystic sense of presence with all of life is part of the ancient wisdom, part of the mystery schools. Our mystic sense of presence with all life means it's not just me, I'm not alone, I'm with everything. I'm of everything, with all of us together tonight, but in every aspect of our life experience, even when we have trouble, even when we're sad, even when we're suffering, even when we have sorrows and real tragedies, all of that. There's a place for the happy blues to balance out the sad blues. So I think it gives us, I really do think if we can slow down in this pandemic, we could have a sense to feel and see new meaning in our lives, deeper meaning in the moment of our journey. Even with uncertainty or thoughts of illness and death, a sense of radical acceptance can offer a new sense of purpose and positive possibility with a sense of theosophic hope. Because for me, Theosophy is my spiritual light on the path. It gives me a calm hope in today and tomorrow, and a new trust in life, and yes, a trust in death and the hereafter. But while we're here, let's be a light unto the nations, and maybe a divine light in Detroit on Woodward Avenue. So we make a significant difference by our karmic birth in Detroit. It's a wonderful and joyous journey where we cultivate our virtues such as adaptability and eradicate our negative qualities such as pessimism and fear. And we it's pretty bold to tamp down your pessimism, and even bolder to honor fear, but not let it become the boss. Let it be a visitor, but one that you kindly handle in a light way that is brave. So if we could cultivate our virtues and eradicate some of our negative qualities and know the difference, that would help us with stress, and that would balance us and ground us and make us much calmer, and it would bring us the inner peace and outer peace that we all must strive for, because that is where peace of mind comes from, your inner peace. That's peace of mind. And the world needs that inner peace as you bring it forward as outer peace. So we must be peacemakers. Even in an election year, we must be kind to the opponent, shall we say, in the contest. It's like we must love Ohio State, even though we might have a preference for Michigan. But we still must embrace the souls of Ohio. We must carry them along with us, even though we want Michigan to prevail. So these are thoughts and ways the pandemic has been good for me. And I invite you to pause and reflect and make notes on ways you have experienced a silver lining, maybe coping skills, sharpened spiritual strength, good fortune and thankfulness for things you do have that have held together well in isolation or quarantine, and made you have a healthier, holier view of your future and our collective future. That's the big challenge. Can we be confident of a happy ending? If we focus on our spiritual path and face our fears and meditate to counteract stress and stay calm in the face of crisis and have a support group like TS and have a clear life mission, I think we're going to be well prepared to take compassionate steps to have a clear right view and right thoughts and right mindfulness and concentration and the ability to cultivate Theosophic and Buddhist virtues, to meet the challenge of life and accept life's gifts, to overcome sorrows, take all opportunities and complete our journey and enjoy the love and beauty and spirit of the puzzles we face and the goals as we try to achieve them. To put it very simply, accept everything and be happy about it. And relax. Maybe tonight, why don't you do something that we don't do enough of? Why don't you take a nice bath? And you can make the tub cool water if you need a cool bath. And if you need a hot tub, you can have a hot tub. And so there's the assignment for tonight. Down and simple, helps you relax and remain calm, even while watching television. Remain calm and enjoy life and play a little bit as much as you can, and be modest yet creative and brave, and love life. And I'd like to just read the Optimist Creed for a moment to you, to promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel there's something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times, to give every living creature you meet a smile, and to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, and to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. Now that's an affirmation, if you will, because let's be clear. We want to serve the planet, the nation, the community, the family, our fellow elders, and become prophets in our own time. And this is a period where we truly, 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 truly need to have supportive voices, gentle, yes, but nonetheless present to help people not feel overwhelmed, not feel, what you could say, fearful and self-doubting and worried about tomorrow. And I must say it's not easy to stay adaptable in a situation where almost everything that we plan for has been canceled. The year has been canceled. So we have to reinvent our life, literally, and principally with our own modest resources, our heart, our brain, and our soul, and make a miniature version of what you absolutely need and what your gifts provide you the capacity to create. And that might just be a company and listening and friendship and holding someone's hand and going out to visit them, and also perhaps inviting them into your backyard. I think that this is a time where we really come to understand how much we really need community, how vital community and human touch, and being in company. That is part of being human and part of our role on the planet. And as we become maybe more loving, more heartful, perhaps we offer far more in our future than we would have if we had been on this rush that we've all been raised with, that maybe could be slowed down just a little bit and made more simple. So for me, I just offer, I hope, a stimulus for some of you who have made a few notes to, of course, raise questions, but also offer us your encouragement, offer us your words of encouragement, something you've done that has stabilized the situation a bit for you, or something that showed up because some of the other things were canceled. I'm walking every day, sometimes twice a day. I'm on a bike. I'm not running out somewhere to some event. I'm self-contained more. I'm on my own resources, a higher proportion of the week or day than I was, where an event was giving me the boost. Now I have to give myself my own boost, and maybe it's just sitting in the yard, or taking a yoga class, or a walk around the block, or getting on a bike. Some of you might swim, any exercise. I think just walking and breathing, we have a chance to encounter the essence of things. Walking and breathing, and have a heart that's beating, and appreciate that, and hope that kindness and love win. On that note, I think I'm glad to open the floor to anyone who wants to share. Think of this as a sharing circle. Mary Jo used to do so well with those breakout sessions that we had at the lodge. This is our big discussion circle here tonight, and welcome different ways of expressing it, or materials I hadn't thought of and you thought of and have found them very wonderful. And we can learn from each other here. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
So I let everyone unmute themselves. So we'll see if we can do it this way.
Sure.
So I'll ask a question for now while people start to generate thoughts to share. I'm interested to hear your thoughts about how the pandemic has provided each of us with this opportunity to really put our spiritual practice into practice, right? Where, you know, maybe a year ago, I know almost everyone who I was interacting with was very confident that they were, I guess, meditating enough or doing the best that they could anyway. And now we're all in a situation where we're forced to, I guess, be with ourselves in such a way that we can't busy ourselves instead of concentrating on our own practice. And so I'm interested in, maybe if you can comment on that, or
Yes. Which of your spiritual practices have shown up for you as partners, or what have you been able to reappreciate that would give you a form of spiritual medicine? For me, I've just reappreciated the waterfall and lake behind our house, and early morning walks, and noticing the ducks and the geese and the squirrels. So I thought, oh, Thich Nhat Hanh, meditation, meditative walk, just reappreciating nature and slow down enough to let nature come to me and let me appreciate the time that I spend with nature is calming me and is good medicine for me. So in some ways, the urban shamanism and nature have been helpers and welcome neighbors. So it can be pretty simple and doesn't even have to be austere and orthodox or very, very traditional.
I've contesting. I've been keeping myself active, looking at a lot of TV or YouTube programs of Advaita Vedanta. I see more and more people who are in there, so I get different how you say, different perceptions of Advaita Vedanta and how it's practiced. And I really love it. I love the thing about that I play a little tennis with people that I know, people, and then I play golf once a week. And I'm challenging the situation because I respect that there's a higher vibration that guiding or allowing me to, and it's always been there. And fear of death is being challenged. As far as positive problems, I don't. I have not met anybody. There's one person, a nurse, who had that we meet with a patient group at Memorial Park, and she had been, challenged with COVID-19, but she was, tested. She was tested positive, but then was able to release from it, and so she got over it. And there's always this challenge, and it's the people with you have to be of the same mind. They have to be of the same challenge ability, to challenge these forces that are out there. And I don't know that we're proving anything. I just I feel that it is a challenge. It is different, but I still feel the energy, and I love the activity, being outside. Matter of fact, this YouTube stuff that we're doing from the lodge, I think is fantastic, because we need to keep the rhythm of brotherhood alive, not just be isolated. Yet I think the isolation does help develop the inward part of ourselves and challenges us at our own home. So I love what you said. Thank you.
Gary, you're playing a lot of tennis, right?
I play tennis twice a week, and I play golf.
There you go. Boy, anybody who can keep themselves outdoors and active with some kind of a sport or some kind of weekly, daily routine is keeping themselves energy body wise. They're keeping themselves strong so that we can be witnesses and stay forward in all our efforts by keeping our energy body healthy and powerful. This whole area of energy medicine is a important component of the gift of Theosophy and the ancient wisdom. And we when we get out and play some tennis or golf or walk or bike, we're building our energy body up and we're building our strength, so we have our mind working and our hearts open, and we're able to give more service and do better service.
Hi, this is Catherine, and I take a Course in Miracles twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm very active in my church. But I've been noticing a lot of birds lately, different types of birds I've never seen before. Today I saw a squirrel, a gray squirrel with a gray and white tail, and I was so excited, and I see so much of nature now. It's just beautiful, and I just love
I
it.
lost my connection.
We're here.
Are you still on?
Yes, but I want to get the volume a little better volume. I wasn't sure I heard everything she said.
Oh,
So wait, is the volume? Just the buttons. Okay. Let me do that. Okay.
okay. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Yeah, try again.
Okay. Sometimes I go through the dark night of the soul where I feel detached, and what I do is when I get up about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I sit on the couch, and if I feel detached, I'll get up and write a letter to my divine one or the supreme being, and then I'll go back and sit on the couch again and start my meditation, and this helps me make it through the day. So it really inspires me. So basically, that's what I do.
Yeah, very good. If there's some prayers, some meditation, some reading, maybe an early morning walk. I have Peace Pilgrim with me, her great book, Steps Towards Inner Peace. And she's always looking at the practicality of reducing worry and finding helpful things to comfort ourselves. So some good reading, some music, some prayers or meditation. There's many paths. Then so many different ways to be comforting yourself in lonely moments, or having to get up at an odd hour and not be able to get back to sleep. And we have to work on the dilemmas of old age, decade by decade, one thing or another. So that sounds good to me, to get up and do some early morning reading, or sit out on the porch or in the yard, or take a walk.
I have an anecdote that may be amusing. Last year, or it's actually 2 years ago, we had a Sanskrit mantra course occur at the lodge, and one of the things that I came away with was this set of tools for like dealing with various kinds of challenges using mantra, right? And one of the things that is so amazing about wearing a mask in a store is that you can kind of mutter stuff under your breath and no one knows that you're kind of walking around talking to yourself. And I mean, I bring that up because when I was at Lowe's the other day getting some stuff for I was doing some landscaping, I walked past and there was a woman doing the same thing. She was singing a hymn. And it dawned on me that, well, wow, maybe this, this mask situation has some upside to it that isn't all just everybody, barely being able to breathe. Like maybe there's a silver lining to it.
Well, people are being more friendly. If you nod or you make eye contact or even wave a little bit, people will respond. People are trying to be friendly. So this is a chance to practice your friendliness, and you'll be surprised with strangers, with total strangers. You'll be surprised. You'll get a little nod. You'll get a little recognition if you make a friendly gesture of goodwill and respect to a person in the grocery store or in the line or any place you happen to bump into somebody walking by. This is a very good invitation to practice our friendliness. It helps you in a lot of practical ways. Part of working in Detroit has powerful teachings. As long as you're friendly and polite and respectful, you'll probably be able to get along with 90% of the people that you'll encounter, or maybe 99%. Even people that are seriously troubled and suffering and may have mental problems, even they, if you approach it with openness, trust, and goodwill, even they have some kind of internal gyroscope that's, thank heavens, placed in the right way, and they're capable of rising to the occasion and showing their good side, their best.
I can say something.
Yes, Gail. Gail has a thought here. She's brought the cat too.
Okay. Yeah, actually I was listening on my phone, but for some reason it just cut off, so I'm gonna borrow Mike's here. So one thing I found that was good about this pandemic was Zoom itself. That Zoom allows us to participate in an organization of friends in California that obviously we're here, we would be missing for 9 months of the year when we're not there. So I found that to be really a nice thing. And also because of Zoom, I'm able to see my niece in New York. She does lullabies for little children 3 times a week. And so otherwise I'd go like a year without seeing her, and now I see her 3 times a week. So that's been just a delight. And another thing is you really can be in 2 places at once with Zoom. Last night we had a person in our backyard, and he said, I really shouldn't be here because I'm supposed to be at the Huntington Woods Democratic Club. I says, you know what? Go into the living room right now, and my laptop's there, and you can be on that Zoom, and then come back out, and you could be here with the rest of us. So that's kind of a nice thing, to be in 2 places at once, to see your niece in New York, and to be with your friends in California that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to.
That's right. It's kind of like a sci-fi thing, isn't it? We're like these metaphysical people we've read about that can do magical things. Now we're able to do that with our smartphones and our laptops. Now,
Mary Jo is trying to talk, but she needs to unmute herself. Sorry.
Mary Jo, just got to unmute yourself. Maybe Ed can help. And Chuck, you have a good story to tell. You should share some of your coping with a lot of surgeries and medical stuff, and how you've kept your bravery and your hope and confidence. And so you should think of a way to share that with this crew of people too.
Are you talking to me?
Well, yes, Mary Jo, go ahead. But I want to encourage my friend Chuck, who's new.
Chuck, where is Chuck?
He's here.
Go ahead and respond.
But go ahead. You get in there first, Mary Jo, and then let Chuck come next.
Well, I was just going to comment on what Gail said, that I, in some ways, am busier now with all my Zoom meetings and my various organizations, and I'm seeing people from around the country, who I haven't seen in years. And that's really a positive thing to build a large community virtually. But it also occurs to me that there are many people who are out of work right now, who've lost their jobs and or are furloughed, and really have lost their sense of purpose. And so I think to be aware that there are many people like that around us, and we may not be aware of them. And so there must be some way that we can also use this time to reach out and do some volunteer work. There are various organizations who are in need of help right now. And maybe it's a good time to reach out and put ourselves out there and do something to help.
Amen. And there are food banks, and there's things people can do from home. There's ways you can write a check. If you are staying in and you're not quite ready to go out, there's still ways to support and help. Many of the good old-fashioned Detroit charities, like the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. I remember Mother Charlesetta Waddles and the work she did with people being released from prison, getting them a set of good clothes and things. So there's plenty of groups in Detroit and across the world that are doing the servant leadership.
Maybe Chuck's ready to
Yeah.
comment on something now. Chuck? No, maybe he's muted.
Well, he is, and maybe he walked away. You never know if you're not on screen.
Yeah.
We don't know where he is, but we'll try to ferret him out before we're done. Chuck?
There he is.
Okay. Can you unmute yourself? Okay.
Okay, you were talking about political things. I have a very good friend who's at the opposite end of the political spectrum from me, but we have agreed to disagree. And I think that's great, because there's so many people who just won't even talk to one another because they think the other person is stupid. But you just have to agree to disagree.
Well, it's challenging, but I'm an activist, and yet I have been able to stay calm and accept family and friends who may be not keen on all my activism and not aligned with where I'm headed with my idealism. But I just what do I do? I defer to that. I don't bring the politics up. I don't judge them. I don't get myself in a situation where I'm lecturing to them or judging them. I'm accepting them with every aspect of them, including aspects that are a little bit challenging to me. Just to carry, like Chuck, you can keep that friendship and let it be a good teaching for you. A mutual friend of ours, John, and I have become closer because we're interested in heart health. So I look for my common ground. Heart health, yeah, I'm interested in keeping my heart beating. And I share that with this individual who also wants to live. And so I work from that common ground of genuine concern, and I just defer with equanimity to his intense views on politics and policy. If we can be a little kinder and a little gentler in this election cycle and in the rest of our lives, it doesn't mean we have to abandon our positions or our views, but maybe we can just look for positive ways to contribute and minimize upsetting ourselves and offending someone else when it really isn't optimally wise. It doesn't really change the other person. It throws our own sense of peace a little bit off balance, and we may have ruffled a person's feathers or even damaged a friendship. So, hey, I've got brothers and sisters. I got to love them no matter what. It's family, and I got to apply that to other friends that I bump into in life and have run across and been around for a while together. I have to find a way to forgive and love in spite of. So I don't know if that's helpful at all, Chuck. It's easy for me to say. I'm just glad that I'm able to not upset myself about it, even though I watch far more cable than I'm embarrassed by the amount of cable television I'm watching. Shame on me.
50 years ago, I had a psychology class, and she did a great job of pounding positive thinking into my brain. And that's been very helpful in the 21 surgeries I've had in my life.
Yeah.
Just look forward instead of looking backward.
Yes, you've been a very brave and impressive person for me to know, Chuck, because you've had so many surgeries, and I feel like a scaredy cat for my relatively minor surgeries that haven't been life-threatening or super dangerous. And I've been scared by those because the scaredy cat in me takes control every so often. But you've been just a real soldier about it. So we need people that have gone through something where they can bear witness and encourage other people to be strong and brave in difficult situations. That's very valuable, very, very valuable. And you do a good job of it. You've been doing it. So it's not like you haven't been doing it.
Last operation was 3 weeks ago, when I had a spinal column stimulator installed. And it's really doing a good job. It stops the spinal column from sending pain messages to the brain.
Yeah. We once had a TS evening where everybody talked about the surgeries they had. And it was one of the most dynamic evenings we ever had at TS. Everybody had some darn surgery that they had, and they were experts on it. And most of them were quite willing to take you through it. And it was a catharsis for everybody. I'm a form of group therapy, especially if you survived it and you can look back on it with a little bit of perspective. So there's a lot to be said for support groups. For medicine, for emotional trouble, for loss of a partner, or scary things that come around. Support groups and support are terribly vital. I know that because Gail and I, have been together for many years, and I really appreciate the support that she has given me, and I hope I'm in a position to support her if she has a bump in the road sometime up the years.
Al, did you have a comment?
Yes, I wanted to mention that I had the pleasure and privilege of living at Crotona for most of the past 15 months. And when we first arrived there, the programs were frequent and participatory. And then, of course, later on, the plague set in, which reduced the quantity of presentations and eliminated the on-hand meetings, so we reverted to Zoom or other forms of digital presentations. But this gave me an opportunity to involve myself more deeply in my artwork, which I had started doing out there. And fortunately, I had both the physical location and tools and equipment for which I could proceed with that. So I think this is an excellent therapeutic thing to get involved in during these current times. So I'd encourage all of you to pick up your brush or your violin or whatever your tool may be and carry on in that direction.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Boy, there's something everybody can do a little oil painting, a little watercolors, a little something. In fact, there's a couple storefronts, I think one in Royal Oak and one in Ferndale, where you can go into the storefront and they give you help in starting your painting. They give you bowls of paint and they guide you through some some basic painting. We did that as kids. We were artists when we were young. Shame on us that we're not still painting, let alone picking up the violin. I wish I had picked up a guitar and gone off with the Rolling Stones 50 years ago.
There's still time.
Yeah. Where's Mary Lampierre? She certainly has something to throw into the conversation. Is she still with us?
She's still with us.
Yeah.
There I am. Emerging.
Yeah.
Well, I went into this treating it like a Buddhist retreat I wanted to go on anyway, you know, because that's been a fantasy, like, can I drop out for a while? But I didn't have my cabin in the woods. I had my house right in the middle of a city. And, so that was a little different. But I found that there were a lot of ways to create connection. I have a couple friends who, like myself, live alone, and we made a commitment to check in with each other every day. And that actually brought us a lot closer, even though we were already good friends. And I have been involved with energy healing, I don't know if you want to call it a system or whatever, called Jinshin Jitsu for decades. And they're based in Arizona, but it's a community. And when we went into lockdown, they started offering daily energy meditations where you would do an energy balancing and a meditation. They're now 3 days a week, but they archive them on YouTube. So I committed to doing that, and I was invited into a mindfulness meditation group, which was kind of interesting because it was a in-person group meeting in Richmond, Virginia, but it had ties to some of my friends here. And with Zoom, we were able to all get together. We still get together 3 mornings a week, and that's how I start my day, 3 mornings a week. We also, I am in a group that a friend of some of ours, Penny Hackett Evans, started, and when she moved to California, we didn't know if we'd ever see her again, and now she can join in every Monday. So there are those things. I'm also a bookseller, and I found the book selling community kind of gathered together to make sure our friends who have stores stayed open and that we supported each other emotionally. One of our bunch had COVID very, very badly. She was in the hospital for 10 days and 2 weeks in rehab, and 4 months later is still having problems, but we gave her a lot of support in reopening her store. So I think I used it a lot to just strengthen community, and I do welcome the retreat. So, and there are so many things out there. I mean, I had 3 different things to do tonight, but I wanted to see everybody at TS because I miss it. And I'm glad somebody like Mike is getting us together tonight. So that's it.
Thank you, Mary.
Does anyone else have any more comments or anything they'd like to say or share with Mike? And
Okay, can you open the screen? Yes, and don't forget, make a few notes before you move to some other activity. Make 1 or 2 resolutions for yourself. Something you either want to expand upon or reinforce, or something you heard tonight that's close at hand that you could implement within reason in the circumstances that you're in. mental and physical, as well as spiritual. So get 1 or 2 concrete resolutions for yourself. Let's make this the New Year's resolution in August. We're going to jump on the new year because we've got a little time on our hands. And maybe we should learn just to slow down and live a simple life. And that way, Mary Jo, we might be able to help people like not get so deep in debt and not buy so much that they can't completely utilize and is unnecessary for happiness. So simplicity and happiness are eternal values, perennial values, and that'll help us. And let's reappreciate all the things we do have and count our blessings and find a key word or 2 that help you cope in a happy and positive way. For me, it's acceptance of what it is and make the best of it. And have a little bit of solitude, a whole lot of gratitude and loving attitude. And it's an honor to be with you. I hope I can see all of you soon again. I hope next year we can be in the lodge together and have a holy, happy celebration. And that will, absolutely contribute to the rebirth of Detroit and the fact that we're all Detroiters at heart. And it's a beautiful city with beautiful people. If we trust and love them, we will receive trust and love. And have a beautiful weekend, friends. Thank you.
Those are wonderful final words, Mike. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Randy, do you know when our next presentation is? Do you remember the date?
Well, we haven't actually ironed one out. It's there will be something on the 11th of September with David Zimmerman, but the details are still getting ironed out. So if there's something before then, it'll be in the email, but otherwise September the 11th is the next one that's in the oven.
Okay.
Mary Jo, we've got to maybe zoom in Maria Parison from California sometime.
That would be a good idea. And I want to remind everybody that the Theosophical Society in America has regular presentations on YouTube as well as webinars. And I know the members of the society who are here tonight know about that, but the programs are open to everyone. So please Google Theosophical Society in America and see what's coming up. They have some really great speakers and programs. So
one last thought. Check in with Gary Contesti about the energy medicine fall banquet in September and this wonderful network that TS people like Gary have been spearheading in a very beautiful interdisciplinary global network of holistic health people. So check in with Gary, and it's another good community project to help people that Mary Jo rightly wants us to remember, to help others and be of service.
Gary, do you want to say anything about that, about the energy medicine?
Is the banquet the 22nd, I think? It's 22nd of September.
Gary, you have to unmute yourself again.
Yes, September 22nd is the time of the banquet, and it's going to be, have masks we're going to wear into the restaurant is kind of outside, and it's going to be to honor certain people and our project, and to raise money because we're starting to connect with Deepak Chopra and a lot of different organizations out there that are doing that work, and hopefully we can get a grant that will help us to be more seen, and it's going to try to get the different like touch therapy, that kind of stuff is going to be practiced in certain hospitals. We're hooking up with different colleges like Oakland University, Michigan state, Michigan, and we're constantly growing. So it's kind of beautiful. It started by Margaret, and she's the one that really is spearheading the whole movement. And thank you for mentioning it.
Okay, well, if anybody else have anything they want to bring to our attention, then if not, thank you all for tuning in. And yes, Ed, are you waving or do you have something you want to add?
I just wanted to say hello to everyone. It's good to even visually see everyone and I feel that energy again. I think that's the part that I missed was the routine and the expectation of those Friday sessions and others to reconnect and share ideas. And maybe the Zoom gives us a way to at least mentally keep that thinking process going. Similar with, I don't know how many of you joined the summer session a few weeks ago with the national organization when they had everything on their Zoom, and it did feel good to be connected. That was my first one, but it still was better than nothing. So we'll take what we can get. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, I think we all feel the same, Ed. We're really missing being together physically.
Yeah, we're social creatures by nature, and we need that to feel alive and to get our energies going.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
Just jump in there, Mary.
Okay. Well, one of my other groups, in light of the Zoom and the COVID situation, had a gathering one evening where everybody just zoomed in and updated everybody on how they were doing, because we were missing the social situation. And I'm wondering if maybe the local lodge could do something like that with the local people one night or day or whatever.
You've
Yes.
been reading our minds.
Okay,
That's
well,
in discussion right now, and we're making a plan.
very happy to hear that, Mary Jo.
Great.
Yeah.
Good idea.
We just have to decide on a start date. So we're looking at the calendar right now.
Thank you.
Glad you're interested in doing that.
Yeah, as is tradition, the year, September is when the programs tend to have started at the lodge in the past, and so we're kind of gearing up to start to have something regularly, at least a couple times a month, but hopefully at least one thing once a week. But you know, given the fact that everybody's getting so comfortable with Zoom, I have a feeling we can start to generate some regularity again and get back into the rhythm of things.
Great. Well, thank you, Randy, for making this thing happen tonight.
Well, thank you for being the face, you know. So there will be a recording of this for anyone who's interested in a couple hours, but otherwise I'm gonna work on that, and this room will be open if you all want to continue hanging out. There's no reason that we have to leave, but I'm going to say the official program is going to end here.